Some time ago, I created a video on how to build a simple speedometer using two donut charts. It's a very simple way to create a speedometer that looks pretty effective and does the job. However, one of my students asked me how they could make the needle overlap the dial of the gauge. That is not easy to do using two donut charts. So I thought I'd create a video to show you how to do that using a pie chart and a donut chart together. So here we are back in Excel. We've got rid of the two donut chart speedometer, and we're now going to create a brand new speedometer with an enhanced look, that is with the needle overlapping the dial. Here is the data that we're going to use. We have a target value which is 5,000 and we have an actual value which is 3,500, which is likely to change. Now to create this into a speedometer, we're going to create two series. The first series is the actual meter plot, and we've taken the actual value and we've referenced it here. So you can see that this is a reference to the actual value. And we're also creating a very thin sliver of a slice for the needle, and I've kept the value at 50. You can alter that if you like to make the needle thinner. If you want the needle thicker, you can make the value of that slice larger. And then finally, we've calculated the remainder, that is the balance of the travel of the needle. How much more has the needle to travel till it reaches 100%? And that is a simple formula, which is the actual value, that is 5,000 the target value 5,000 minus the actual and minus the needle. But you'll see that I have not used this value of 5,000. I've used this value of 5,000 here because to create a speedometer you need a semicircle, and a pie chart and a donut chart are full circles. So what we do when we want to do something like that is to create something like this, and then you take you consider that your speedometer is the top half of the circle, and the bottom half of the circle will be balanced by a balancing slice that is exactly equal to the top half. And this balancing slice has to be the target value. So if you look at my arrangement of data here, you can see that this value here is linked to the actual target. This value is linked to the actual value, and the rest are all computations from these two values. The second series is a series of gradations, or a series of slices that will form your dial. Now, depending on how many sections you want in your dial, you can divide this into 4, 5, 6, 10, as many as you like. All you have to make sure is that this value, the total of all these slices, is equal to the target value. And you also must have a balancing slice which is equal to the target value. So now that you've set that up, we can go ahead and begin creating our meter plot. So I'll select all this as my data and go insert, and I'll begin with a donut chart. So I'll select this, and we get two donuts, one inside the other. Now the next step is to convert these into the combo chart that we want. So this formatting panel is open here at the right, on the right hand side. If it's not, you can right click on any one of these and say format data series to get it onto to open up that panel. Right now what we want to do is we want to change the inner one, which includes the needle. We want this one to be a pie chart. So I'm going to right click on that one and I'm going to say change series chart type. And I click that, and that one is series 1. So series 1 is the one that I'm going to convert into a pie chart. So I'll drop that down and I'll select a pie. So there you can see that's become a pie chart, and the donut is behind it, and that's why you can't see it. So now we've also got to decide which of these we want on the primary axis and the secondary axis. Remember, you can only do something overlapping the other. You can make the sizes different if they are on two separate axes. So I'm going to, if I plot this on the secondary axis, the dial will be outside the speedometer. Whereas if I plot this one on the secondary axis, the speedometer completely overlaps the dial. So I'm going to plot the pie chart on the secondary axis and click OK. So there we are, that's our pie chart. We are also now going to rotate this chart. So if the formatting panel isn't already open, we'll click Format Data Series and open up the Format panel here. Go to the series options and set the angle of the first slice to 270 degrees. So that makes the meter plot become the top half of our circle, and the balancing slice is the bottom half of our circle. Now the rest is all formatting tweaks. So we'll delete the series first because we don't want that cluttering up our screen. And the next is to make all these slices transparent. So I select that one slice, and I go to the fill and I click no fill and no border. So that slice is gone. I go to the next one and I just want to repeat it. So I'm going to press F4, which repeats my last action. And that gets rid of the border. And I'm also going to get rid of the fill. That gets rid of the slice. And then this last one here, press F4. That'll get rid of the fill. And I'll also say no line for the border. So that's got rid of all those three slices. And here you can see the thin sliver of a slice is the only one that's left. So that's going to be really hard to select. With a little luck, we'll be able to select it. There we go. So that's selected the slice. And I'm going to change the slice to a solid fill. I'm going to select a dark color and no line. So there's our slice. There's our needle. Now I've got to rotate the donut chart as well. Now you'll see that when I try to select it, I can't because it's behind the pie chart. So I'm going to resort to a little trick. I'm going to explode this pie chart. So I'm simply going to grab hold of one of these invisible slices here and drag it. So that will explode the entire pie chart. I'm going to do that for all the slices. So that's taken them out of the way. And now I can select my donut chart. So I've selected my donut chart. The Format Data Series panel is still open here. So I'm going to the series options and I'll select the angle of the first slice to be 270 degrees. So that's rotated the donut as well. And the bottom slice, I'm going to make that no fill. So there we are. So there we now have a dial. You can see our speedometer is now taking shape. We have a nice looking dial and we have a needle that is overlapping the dial. Now it's pretty much your choice how you want to arrange this. You can have more slices here to increase the gradations in your dial. You can have less of them. Do what you want as far as tweaking this is concerned. The basic speedometer is over at this stage. Now what's left to do is some enhancements. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a data label to this slice. So I'm going to select that one slice and then I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to add a data label. Now it's added the data label right there, and obviously the first label it'll add will be the actual value of the slice. But I don't want that. I want it to show the value of the actual performance. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first click on the data label and I get the data label options here, and I'll go to the label options, and in the label options, I'm going to the alignment and I'm going to take off this resize shape to fit text, wrap text in shape, so I make sure that my text doesn't wrap. Then I'll go to the label options and I'm going to set the label position to be in the center of the slice. So the label will always track the slice. The next thing I'm going to do is set a fill color. So I'm giving it a solid fill and I'll use a white fill and a solid line border. Now, if you have Excel 2016 or Excel 2013, you have many other enhancements for labels. You can change the shape of the label. You can make it a circle. You can do whatever pretty much what you like as far as enhancing this data label. The most important thing here is to make it link to the actual value. So now I select it as an object and I click in the formula bar, type an equal sign and click on the actual value. You could even have a calculation of a percentage and then link it to that in a separate cell. So there we are, there's the label, and you'll see the effect of not allowing the shape to resize to fit the label. So here it's the shape is too small for this label, so I'm going back to the alignment and I'm going to say resize shape to fit text. There we go. So but we must make sure that we don't have the text wrapping inside the shape. So now let's test it out. If I change this value to 2500, the needle will swing and it will show 2500 as completion. If I set it to 4000, it'll swing and show me that the value is 4000. The rest of what you want to do with this chart are all enhancements. So if you'd like to add an annotation of a circle in the center, you can do that. It's pretty much just for prettying up this chart and making it look a little nicer. So you can do that if you like to simulate the effect of this being the hub. The last thing to see is a small little enhancement to make the needle extend over the edge of the dial. If you want to do that and you want the needle to extend over the edge of the dial, all you have to do is to select the slice and extend or explode that slice a little bit. Once you've exploded the slice, it will maintain that distance, or it will maintain that offset for the entire distance of the travel. So if I change this here, the actual value here from 4000 to 500, you'll see that the needle swings all the way to the left and it still maintains that extension over the edge of the dial. The only thing is, because it is now not rotating exactly from the center but offset from the center, you may have to increase the size of this little hub a little bit so as to mask that area of travel. And there you are. Here's a speedometer with a dial and a needle that extends over the dial. That's it from me in this brief video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found a way to incorporate this into your dashboards. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again in some of our other videos.